The year is 2013. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm deep in my ways of playing video games, watching anime, and having zero form of social interaction. I'm probably sleeping through class, content to dream about the girl next to me. Lunchtime rolls around and I'll race to the cafeteria because they run out of food from time to time, which is kind of fucked up. I'll wait awkwardly in line, still breathing hard and sweating slightly from my brisk jaunt. I'll sit awkwardly at a lunch table, encouraged to socialize with the peers that I grew up with and yet still hardly know. On this particular day, I'll see John. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, John. I'll notice John's really cool sword keychain thing and I'll hesitate, then I'll work up the nerve to ask him about it. He'll tell me it's Kirito's sword, and I don't know what that means, so I ask. He's the main character of Sword Art Online, an anime I'd heard about once or twice but never cared to watch because it was too popular, and too popular is currently cringe to 2013-year-old Kino. I didn't know they had wicked cool swords like that in Sword Art Online, so I'm gonna watch that. Later that day, I'd wait in my high school's car line until I was the last student remaining, waiting eagerly for the chance to see just what Kirito could do. Later the next night, I'd finished the last episode of the first season. I cried tears, I fell in love with Asuna, I wanted to be an Aincrad fighting alongside other hapless gamers trapped in an unforgiving datascape. Time would pass, and Sword Art Online would become much more popular, a meme in its own right. Even suggesting someone watch it was the equivalent of kicking a puppy. Not counting technical things like Inuyasha, Sword Art Online propelled the Isekai genre into the mainstream, and its seemingly insurmountable popularity gave way for a revolving door of Isekai anime. Flavor of the season, flavor of the week, flavor of the fucking month. It felt like there was a new Isekai anime coming out every time I got a boner. And no, I don't think those things were correlated. From No Game No Life to Overlord to ReZero, with a slew of other less notable ecchi and outright just bad anime in between, the Isekai genre cemented its legacy on anime. It was here to stay. Which brings us to the subject of this video. The Rising of the Shield Hero was a pleasant surprise during the summer of this year. Another suggestion from, you guessed it, my little brother, who is mentioned so much in these videos, we're gonna go ahead and name drop him. This is for you, Hunter. Admittedly, I was watching a YouTube video as he started playing the first episode. I kept glancing back up to see what was on screen from time to time, much more content to watch whatever Valorant tips video I was probably watching. Around halfway through the first episode, I realized that I had looked up from my phone and simply never looked back down. I was sucked in, and we'd get through the first 10 or so episodes before calling it a night. Isekai weeb Aniko Usagi originally published The Rising of the Shield Hero as a webtoon on the illustrious self-publishing website Shosetsuka ni Naro. After finding mild popularity among the webtoons on the platform, Media Factory picked it up, expanded the storyline, and began publishing it as both a light novel and manga series, with the Kinema Citrus produced anime being announced in 2017 and officially airing its first season on January 9th, 2019. The first couple episodes were beyond controversial to say the least. R-word accusations and slavery make for quite the jarring introduction to the country of Melremark. Which side of the fence you stand on regarding those issues may impact your decision to continue watching the anime, but if you do choose to persist, you'll become enthralled with Naofumi's journey and entranced by the world the protagonist finds himself in, just as many others were. Because of this, the season was hastily renewed for both the second and third season, with season 2 premiering in October of 2021. The premiere date for the eagerly awaited third season is yet to be announced, but fans can expect word on the third season any day now. Have you ever opened up a book, your curiosity piqued by the cover, only to find yourself transported to a completely different world? That's what happened to Naofumi, and that's precisely the reason I don't read. Could you imagine flipping open a manga and suddenly being teleported into fucking Paradis, hungry titans prowling about? At least Naofumi wasn't alone though, as he finds 3 others with him, each holding 1 of 4 weapons. They would learn that they were the 4 cardinal heroes of Melremark, wielding a spear, a sword, a bow, and in Naofumi's case, a shield. Later that night, they'd learn that they were summoned from their own separate versions of Japan to help defend this new world from the waves of catastrophe, and the next day they would be ushered along on their journey. But that following morning, only one volunteer that the king had gathered chose to follow Naofumi, with the others grouping with the other 3 cardinal heroes. At this point, it's more than apparent to everyone involved that the shield hero is considered a loser, but Naofumi and his single follower leave to prepare on their journey. It isn't until the following morning that his single follower is revealed to be the king's daughter, the previously named Princess Malti, and it's revealed as Naofumi is arrested after she falsely alleged that he R-worded her. Stripped of his honor, dignity, and money, Naofumi officially begins his journey, far behind his peers, and alone in a world he doesn't know anything about. He runs into the blacksmith Erhard, who provides him with armor after looking into Naofumi's eyes and judging the weight of his soul. Which actually sounds way more dramatic than it was. He was more like, I heard you did that shit, but I looked at you, I looked into your eyes, here's some armor. Pay me back whenever. He's then approached by a man later revealed to be a profitable slave trader that sells him Raphtalia, a sickly demi-human slave. I opted to go for a bare-bones summary of the first episode this time because the story for the Rising of the Shield Hero feels much like starting an open-world video game. You get some intro exposition, a cutscene or something among the like, then you're deposited into the game world to explore, take on quests, and complete your journey. Naofumi begins his journey just like the other players, but his story path is wildly different right off the rip, leading him to the same destinations, individuals, and enemies as the other Cardinal heroes, just at different times, in different ways, and usually cleaning up their mess. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like the anime does anything revolutionary as far as world building goes. It's pretty standard for an Isekai anime, which, let's be real here, if it was anything less than that, it probably wouldn't be fit to watch. The animation never feels lacking, the story doesn't get dry, the pacing doesn't come to a lurching stop or creep along. The characters are memorable, enjoyable, and personable. Raphtalia is one of my favorite supporting characters in all of anime. She's got Mikasa Ackerman wavelengths. She's always on guard and ready to protect Naofumi the same way that Mikasa lives for Eren. And she doesn't do this because she's obligated to as his slave, although that's how it began. She does this because Naofumi has taken care of her, healed her, and given her life the one sliver of a chance that it needed to become something so much more than it was. And it's not until she grows into an adult, much faster than a human would by the way, that this sense of duty manifests in the form of attraction. And it's an attraction that doesn't really feel misplaced or forced at any point. In their own right, Naofumi and Raphtalia are rival the iconic pairing of even Kirito and Asuna. And before any of you motherfuckers have some slick shit to say in the comments, no, I'm not a furry, but your hairy ass unga bunga looking mama probably wishes I was. Man, I'm telling you, this isekai is different. My biggest issue with isekai anime is how the main characters are extremely powerful, capable gigachads that cut down any and every enemy in sight without so much as breaking a sweat. Rarely was Kirito truly challenged in sword art. I refused to watch more than the first 3 episodes of Overlord because Ainz is just so strong. The tension was siphoned out of literally any plot point. And I didn't care because I knew he was just going to win and overpower the enemies. With my luck, at this point the anime has probably changed all of that and there are actual stakes that I'm actively putting my foot into my mouth for, but damn it, that's a bet I am willing to take. Naofumi is literally stripped of every single advantage he should have in this new world, save for his shield and Giga Chad attitude. He literally can't even do damage until he unlocks later skills that allow it. He can't wield a sword, and as soon as he picks one up, boom, it zaps him, falls out of his hand, and all he's left with is his shield. Naofumi's only hope to attack is literally a half-tanuki child with one foot in the grave. No isekai protagonist has beaten the odds quite like Naofumi. The King's Morning Prayer is his downfall. The writers build Naofumi up as a folk hero going from town to town helping people and fixing the mistakes of the other Cardinal heroes while he's also rebuilding a reputation that he didn't even work to tarnish. It's because of this that Naofumi's attitude and perseverance lead the shield hero to be perceived as a symbol of hope throughout all of Melromark and then later the world. And it's ultimately Naofumi's attitude that makes me feel like The Rising of the Shield Hero is the best isekai anime I have ever seen. Should you watch The Rising of the Shield Hero? Yeah, I think so.